Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Beth, here to help you fulfill your potential in meditation. As most of you know, I don't have just one method that I teach to everybody, like one size fits all. Instead, I much prefer to teach people one-on-one. And the reason is that you're all different. So please use these videos as a guideline. And if there's anything that isn't quite working for you or anything that doesn't quite fit, then be in touch and I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. Today's video is about a question that I get asked quite a lot, and that is, why should we believe in past lives? So the simple answer to this question is we shouldn't believe in past lives. The way of the Buddha is not to believe in things without evidence. The way of the Buddha is what he called ehipassika. Ehipassika means come and see. So we want to believe in things that we are able to discern with our own direct knowledge. I've made some videos on how to discern our past lives, so if you haven't watched those already, I'd suggest that you go and do that. Have a go at actually doing the practice and see if you can discern your past lives for yourself. A different question though is, why should we put in all of that work of discerning our past lives? It's quite a big job to do in the meditation, so why do we include it in our practice? Well, it comes down to our basic aim in the meditation practice, which is to make an end of suffering. Now, if our aim is to make an end of suffering, then fairly obviously we need to consider what happens when we die, because it will influence the way that we go about making an end of suffering. For example, if you think that when you die you just simply stop existing, then all you really need to do to make an end of suffering is to die. You die and then there's no more suffering left. If you believe that when you die, then you either go to heaven or to hell, and that's decided by some kind of a god, then the way to make an end of suffering is to please that god and make sure that you go to heaven. When we can directly discern that when we die, what actually happens is a very complex causal chain of events continues, then we understand that in order to make an end of suffering, we need to consider how to untangle that causal chain. And when we're able to see that that causal chain is fueled by craving and delusion, it becomes obvious that the way to make an end of suffering is to train our minds to remove those forces of craving and delusion. So this is the first reason, and a really important reason, why it's important to discern the past lives. Because when we discern them, it becomes clear through our own direct knowledge what we need to do to make an end of suffering. The other reason to discern past lives is to deepen our understanding of non-self. In general, when we can discern, or when we can directly see the conditioned nature of something, we start to understand its non-self nature more deeply. When we understand that something is happening because of its own set of causes and conditions, we understand it's not happening because of me, it's not mine, we start to understand, okay, this thing is non-self. Now, in the case of our bodies and minds, some of the causes and conditions lie in the here and now. But some of the things that condition this body and mind lie in our past lives. And so when we discern our past lives, we can more deeply understand the conditioned nature of this body and mind. We can therefore more deeply understand its non-self nature. This is especially true when we can see that the causes and conditions are momentary. So as we deepen in our Vipassana practice, we start to understand that everything of the body and mind that's happening now is momentarily coming into and out of existence. When we discern our past lives, we see that everything in our past lives was also momentarily coming into and out of existence. And so what we have is momentary causes producing momentary results. Nothing is lasting more than a moment. When this becomes our direct experience, it makes our understanding of non-self profound and unshakable. And when we understand non-self in this way, we no longer want to hold on to things. We're ready to let it go, we're ready to renounce. And that is the force that carries us to Nibbana. So, these are some of the reasons why it's important to discern our past lives. As I said, I've made videos on how to actually do the practice. If you haven't done so already, I'd suggest that you go and watch those videos. But now is the time to get off of the screens, get onto the cushions and actually start meditating so that we can see some of these things for ourselves. If there's anything that's unclear to you, anything you're not sure of, then I welcome you to get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to discuss those things with you one-on-one. As most of you know, I do all of my work on a donation basis, so I welcome you to support me either through Patreon or through my website so that I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for your support. Wishing you the best with your meditation.